We making all the beep boop. You know, I've never taken the time to actually sit down and look at the built-in integration and being able to look at the different character sheets. This is cute. I can look at their equipment. This level of integration is extremely impressive from like a game dev standpoint. It's funny how close they managed to get this to even making like a simulacrum of. Oh, now that's rude. A simulacrum of the inventory that is fairly close to what the player character gets to use. Now, I just noticed while looking at the inventory screen, there's an actual way to organize by type, and take note, you can do so as well in the game, but doing so doesn't create like sets of lists that are delineated from each other in any given way. Instead, you have everything lumped into lines that make sense to the game's internal lining. And when in large enough groups of stuff, you'll be able to like note, oh yeah, over here's where all the food goes, over here's where all of the dishes go, over here's where all the weapons and armor go. But it's not really well organized or well displayed. And yet, here in the integrated stuff for the Twitch viewer, I can actually go look at the inventory and organize into just armor. It only displays armor in its own dedicated little box, or just weapons, or just potions. It's I kind of wish I had that in game. Hmm. Ba 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 ba. I'm a dog. I'm a green glow dog on the internet, and it is time for Baldsum Gates. Also, cheers to those that imbibe along, whether it's smoking, vaping, or dabbing, tinctures, edibles, tonics, or salves. I'm having a bit of a night. I'm medicating. My abs are so messed up. I really messed them up yesterday, and I'm very thankful that I have access to anti-inflammatories right now. Okay. So, I haven't heard from Stone, and rather than play the campaign that I've got going with him without him, I'm instead going to start doing my single player campaign on here because I am addicted to Dungeons and Dragons and always have been and always will be and have been interested in it since I was a little girl playing second edition back in junior high. Oh wow, that really dates me. And I've been having a lot of fun being able to mess with like role play and character backgrounds and stuff in ways that actually fit into the game's systems. This is a very min-maxed, dangerous set of lovers party that I've put together. And I've found out after the fact that it looks like my current party makeup may not actually be compatible later because while you're allowed to be poly in this game, that doesn't mean that any of the cast is. I'll let you think about that one for a sec. Also, there are two poly characters, like canonically poly characters. Unfortunately, neither of them are willing to be in a party together because they're completely divergent in alignment. They will not be in a party together. And so like hey, um just completely forgot the name of the creator of this game. But Baldur's Gate, Baldur's Gate people. WTF, mate? Where where are my poly options? Like it's 2023 in our year of the Lord Faerun. Um you're allowing, so many other things that make perfect sense to me. Like, yes, great, good. Why? 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 Why did you mess up on this? With as much of a dating mechanic as you put into the game, you hid an entire dating sim inside of an RPG. And instead of making it a clicker game, you made it into a thing where you actually have to progress in the RPG story to progress in your little romance. That's a delight. It really is. And in a single player playthrough, it makes things entertaining and fun and cute and ah, so why are they all monogamous? Come on, your writing team can do better than this. Anyways, I want to make certain that I do have notifications up so I can see them in the event I do hear from anybody. So my apologies if you hear 50 pings. Just gonna happen. Anyways, yeah, this is my danger lesbian party. Gail's there too. Don't think about it. 100. So, I guess I should also do a quick wrap up on where we're at in the story. Druid encampment safe. Goblin encampment mostly destroyed. Village completely looted. Spider den still not touched. Witch's house touched, and I think fully cleared. I should actually go back there. It's been a minute. And not vagabonds, travelers, wayfarers, pilgrims. Pilgrims is a good term. They're not. The people with the wagons and the carts, the tieflings, refugees, that's the word. Um their path has been cleared, I guess. We'll see where that goes. Also, found the druid, brought him home. Everybody's happy. Don't worry about the pile of corpses in the middle of the room here. Stop worrying about it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop worrying. I'm supposed to find somebody named. Oh, this is specifically the servants' quarters. Interesting. Lorik. Wrath, there you are. I've been looking for you.
You done it. You brought Halcyon back. Thank you. No, thanks is not enough. May Sylvanus bless you for all your days.
Yeah, give
I
me
cannot imagine
blessing
taking on a camp
nonstop for
full
the
of
rest of the game.
goblins as a
Advantage on
simple
everything.
task.
I'm glad Hassan is safe.
As am I. The grove will be whole again. And I promised you a...
Yes, yes, I need to move this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I swear I'm a professional.
Take this rune.
Wait,
You'll
what?
need it. Place it among the pedestals inside our library. When the wolf glows brightest, everything in the vault below will be yours.
Is this guy about to sacrifice me to his gods? Hold up, I need to go read that. Let me show you on the map where you... Wait, and I promised you a reward, didn't I? Okay. Like, here? Vault entrance. Vault? Vault? This guy's gonna seal me in like it's the cask of Amontillado.
A parasite. Take it. It might be useful.
Halsin's pipe.
Wish I had a bag of holding.
Wow. When he dissects somebody, he really dissects somebody. Everybody just run around on top of this drow here. Don't worry about it. Hey, everybody, could you please get off the body? Oh my god.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Your name and your house. Now.
Ned Sierranis of the Absolute.
Of the House of the Absolute, huh? See you folks after the ad. Alright. Why would you so? Drow are born to rule.
We will. Absolute will rule all.
Where did you get your
The
tadpole?
corpse remains silent. It doesn't understand the question.
What happened to you?
Scouting. Found druids.
Were you abducted?
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Interesting. I've been wondering why it was that they would glow. I can read here now. What does this mean? I'm taking all the books with me on the road, where I will read them in between camps while waiting for our inevitable doom. Personal account. I have so many things to read.
I don't think there'll be any more trouble between Lae'zel and I, if you were wondering. We can all sleep easier now. Well, apart from all the rest.
Huh. I'll be keeping. That's good. I'd rather keep things friendly between all of us.
You have an interesting definition of friendly, but yes.
Look, lady, I can't help that you're only kind of Polly. You seemed intrigued when Halson mentioned Dark Justiciars before.
I was. He mentioned Dark Justiciars, and we've come across other signs of a Sharon presence during our travels. I'm not sure I can dismiss that as a coincidence.
Okay. Well, thank you for the follow, Zatan. Zatanist? And welcome in. I'm the Sandwife, a green glow dog on the internet. From the Game Mountains of Colorado. I'm a medical cannabis patient, and I recently hurt myself, and I'm currently medicating as a result. A long list of owlbear sightings in the region, separated by date. The latest entry, written 10 days ago, says cub. The word is underlined several times. Hello! First time chat. I'm glad to have you in. We're doing a very strange playthrough. I'm kind of brute forcing my way through the game on this single player run, doing a strip mine of the content. So if you're looking for story or anything like that, you will find it here, but it's gonna be kind of piecemeal in between me just, going through everything. Also, I was gonna say, there's some stuff that's not highlighting here. That's funny that I can take the sightings record. And this is that other room I went to. Oh. Oh. So does that mean... Oh, jeez. Okay, these are all still red. Let's go put this in place. Let's see what reward we get for saving these folks. Combine items. Empty socket with... Rune of the Wolf. Hmm. Ooh. Oh, now that's fun.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, we'll have that conversation at camp. Spiral stairs. We're gonna get locked in. Hey there, Milky Taro. I love this game too. I did not expect it to be such a good second edition perspective of D&D or for things to match as well as they do, even though this is written for 5e. they managed to capture that sense of like the 2E rules underlying in 5E. What is this? Is it a sphere named Sorrow?
The glaive the druid's notebook mentioned. Its owner thought it was cursed.
Oh. Also, give me just a moment here. Okay, that's not mine. Sorrow. Weapon enchantment +1. Sorrowful Lash. Transmutation cantrip. For every drop of blood spilled, a piece of the soul perishes until nothing remains but regret. Wait, what? Pulls a creature 3 meters closer to you. Target cannot be pulled if it's huge in size. Bonus action. Per turn. That is powerful. As a bonus action, so you can stab. Oh, wow. That's gonna be great for Gale, actually. Alright, so let's equip this. And let's read this note. The Emerald Enclave won't send help, even if I asked. This land is wounded, and the rot is deep, but it's deep everywhere. I cannot wait for help to come. Perhaps I need not face the darkness alone. Huh. Rich philosophy on death and resurrection. No, not right now. Personal account. In Ketheric, I see your failures made manifest. He did not fall. He was pushed. His grief was twisted by shadow, and we still did not act until his light all was but snuffed. Was all but snuffed. Okay. Wait, Halson's Journal Volume 1? How many volumes are there? Extraordinary happenings. While meditating in the forest, Nettie and I were ambushed by a pack of goblins led by a drow. We had no choice but to defend ourselves. But that is not the extraordinary, or rather disturbing part. On the drow's death, a parasitic creature emerged from the corpse and attempted to escape. I managed to capture it and have the host cadaver here in my study. I've told no one of my fears. Nettie suspects, but knows better than to ask. I will investigate further before informing the others. Kaga will demand answers I don't yet have. I'd better record any further findings in a separate volume and keep them upon my person, lest prying eyes jump to the wrong conclusions. Interesting. My dearest Nettie, I entrust you with the circlet to open the library. Wear it always. If you need to enter the vault, talk to Wrath. He has the rune, but won't give it to anyone, so be sure you have good reason to ask. Protect my research while I'm gone, and take care of the animals. Don't give fish to Tuppet. She's getting lazy. Master Halson. Aww. What's that? Um, I wish that it would actually let me like quickly reference the uh journal that it was talking about that was written by one of the druids. I don't remember where I found that journal note. And at this point, my bookshelf bag, like the book bag that I've been collecting, has literal hundreds of books in it. It is getting difficult to keep track of what's what. So, yeah. Hmm. I wonder if the auto sorting system will actually handle that. Aw, thank you, Skill Raider. I appreciate the support. Sandy, so cute, cute. Aw, thank you. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know where I have that note. I might have to go. Let's see. Maybe.
I'd love to, thanks.
I think I sent it to camp,
Take and enjoy the
unfortunately.
holiday.
Yeah, I sent the book bag. No. Alright.
Lady of Sorrows, guide us. Did you want something?
What's in here?
Robe of Summer. Uncommon clothing. 10 AC. Grants resistance to cold damage. Hmm. If I hadn't taken. Well, now I could respec. That's not a bad idea. I could do so and not end up having a War Mage version of Gale. What else is over here? More Wyvern Toxin.
What path lies before me?
I feel like there's something I'm missing here. Huh? Hmm. Oh, phone's going off. I'm gonna see. Let's see.
There's no time to waste.
Haste, poison, misty stuff. Oh, definitely don't cast that at level 3. And in fact, I want to say you have new spells. New spells that drastically outdo these. Didn't I pick up a Grant Flight?
Never a dull moment.
Yeah. Master Gale.
Yes.
Learn. How do you fly?
Damn, it's good to be alive.
Hmm. Try this a different way.
Let's get on with it.
Well,
All's well that ends not as bad as it could have.
yeah, that's not working quite the way I expected. Oh well.
At the ready.
Not gonna burn
First,
any
lay my hands
further
on
time on
everything.
that. Yes, you are cursed to put your hands on everything. You got the touchies. You got them little bappy paws, and you gotta touch everything with it. You know, check the body. Read that. Track the druid. Find whatever burrow he runs to, then report back to me. Remember, you are not only a scout. You are only a scout. Do not engage. Do not kill anyone. Simply observe and return. I shall decide what we do next. I wonder who that was. So am I able to go into the other library now? Also,
Very well.
nutty. I'm curious.
Sylvanas be with you, my friend.
Okay. Nettie has a key to a library that is separate from this library, I'm assuming. Or does something else in here. Interesting. Well. Oh, hey. We can wake up Kaga.
Corpse seems willing.
Oh. Oops. I forgot about that. Where's Halsin? I guess up front.
Well, at least the sun is nice. You should try it. Lay down and bask in its warmth.
Oh, we should go talk to the bard. Hmm. Hmm. I still feel like there's something that I was supposed to see out there that I never did. Now, about that flight spell. We're gonna give this another try. Go over there. Why can't get there? Okay, I'm gonna look this up because this feels like I'm burning spell points in a way that I shouldn't. How to use flight in Baldur's Gate. Only so much players can do moving around on land and using fly, and Baldur's Gate 3 changes that. Players can use the ability in combat to move around the battlefield and so have the upper hand against their enemies, not to mention can also cast on their companions but bestowed an ability. Ba 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 ba. Tell me more. Uh, you gotta be kidding me. It doesn't actually say mechanically like how to use the flight. It just says you can use flight to do these things. Ha ha ha. Uh, um, acts like a jump action rather than allowing you to choose elevation, which is a feature that we hope to see in the future. Okay. So you just use jump while you have flight and the character will fly there. So let's try that. Um
As you wish.
well, I didn't know that we could get up here, but that's fun.
Have a lot on my mind. And, well, in it.
Uh-huh. Actually, this gives me the opportunity to look around a little more. So wait a sec. Have I been to... Ye- That's starting to look like I haven't actually been there. Because I don't think I
Moving in.
have with this party. Now I'm like, what did I do? Does that mean this kid just got eaten? No,
No
there's...
traps, please.
Okay. Well, I see the chest that I think I missed the other time around. Apparently I can just click back here and they're gonna auto pass by, so that's pretty nice. I completely missed this last time. So funny.
Let's see what those harpies were hoarding.
Miriam, I'm sorry it's been so long since I've written. A lot has happened. First, some good news. Maggie Two Fingers won't be bothering you anymore. I paid her back in full. I'm sorry. She should never have got your name in the first place. Now for the bad news. My love, I'm not coming home. Not for a while, at least. The money came from a mercenary group, probably best I don't give their name, and I've agreed to a couple jobs in Icewind Dale in return. They paid me up front because, God, it's so strange to write about it. Because they needed a warlock. They needed me. I took the deal that can be offered. I'm not going to say I had no choice, because that would be a lie, but I don't regret it. I'm a new man. I feel strong for the first time in my life, aside from being awoken in the middle of the night by the smell of sulfur. He likes to drop in to see how everything's going. I have no complaints. If you don't reply to this letter, I understand. And if you don't want me to come back at all, well, I understand that too. I love you, Miriam, and I want you to be happy, even if it's not with me. Edmund. Boo, boo, boo. Oh, I received notification from somebody who forgets that I streamed at this time. This back, this back. Okay, where's that note? Inscrutable journal. Welcome, Pilton. We followed Mosharib's instructions so far, but something feels odd. We've encountered no creatures along the way, only alien noises from all directions. Sleep evades us, and the muck on my boots has hardened into a permanent feature. Hopefully we find... Lost more hair this morning. I knew there were side effects to coming back, but I didn't expect it to be... Ugh. I hear him laughing, the lamentations of Vomuans drowning like a chorus. What is the purpose of this hellhole? He speaks to the walls, the ceiling, the floor. Is he the tomb? Is he? On the last legible page, a crudely drawn charcoal outline of a bearded devil's face, its mouth agape in a silent scream. That's terrifying. What the hell did I just read? Ring of color spray. Is that as a free action? As a spell. Given as a free spell slot. When the light hits it just so, the center jewel shimmers with every color of the rainbow. Alright, equip that for the moment. Blind creatures up to a combined 33 hit points. Interesting. 1 turn, 5 meter, refreshes every battle.
Wits and blades always sharp.
Making me sweat.
You have my attention.
Jump distance is increased. Also, jump distance is increased. So let's...
Air is ripe with magic.
Same damage. Same abilities. Adds the lash. Two-handed, extra reach. Both are glaives. Unfortunately, I don't see myself doing a glaive with anyone else. I just have him set up for that. And he consistently runs out of free actions or bonus actions. Does he? He doesn't. He usually has a spare. Because he'll do a run and a teleport. So you could lash somebody in instead. And then blast with the... Ooh. Ideas. Crowd control is interesting. I'm going to keep it as it is for now, though. Okay. Yeah, I kept noticing there was that part on the map, and like, there appears to be something there. And I don't think I can go... Wait. Yeah, I don't think there's anywhere I can go from here. And that's where the bear is. And I sure as hell don't think I'm allowed to actually cross the river here. Huh. I never noticed these piles of bones before. I wonder if there's anything off in that direction. Flight doesn't seem any better than vaulting, honestly. Just saw a speedrun of Baldur's Gate 3 just ended the game in 15 minutes. How? How? Huh? Did they just... How? Aw, my poor wolf. You cool.
All right. What now? Moving ahead.
Then we wait for everybody to get here. You don't know. I don't know how
These things
one...
have stayed interesting.
would do that, because like there's been more than 15 minutes of overall content uh of storyline for me so far. Yo, what? Oh. Apparently we already dug up whatever was over there. Uh, I have done so much of this in such a daze that like I legitimately don't know where I have and haven't been. And it doesn't help that I've been playing 3 different campaigns, so like the whole not enough bodies, not enough time is really proven to be weird at the moment. Speedrunners built different. Yeah, truly. I can't do that. I have to enjoy my game. Like speedrunners, competitive eating, like there's just a certain thing about the way those people are built that just I don't get it. I just don't. Hmm.
I should speak up.
It'll take a while for us all to recover. Of course.
Yeah, that hide armor +2 looks really nice. I've been trying to figure out if I would even want to go with any more of a stealth build. I know that my characters currently get like negatives to stealth checks with all their armor and stuff, but I figure they'll use magic to buffer that the rest of the way. We're a fairly hybridized party. Oh, those are cute. Encased safely in glass, these beautiful petals continue to blossom. Aw. A long jar packed full of severed tentacles. It's unclear if they're from a sea creature or something more sinister. Foul-smelling, oily liquid that shimmers in the light. An eye floats in the oily liquid, moving only when jostled. An eye floating in the jar. It's too big to be human. A wooden pipe, worn smooth with age and use. It smells faintly of some exotic tobacco. Aw. Rope. Chisels. So many books. This dwarven crafted goblet may be empty of water, but it's full of problems. Silly. For a second I was worried that I was actually hearing my own stream, but no, it appears that is muted. Good.
May you keep...
Okay, there's always so much to do after a major encounter and like doing the mop up and everything. I'm still figuring out all the stuff that I want to do here. Okay, I've spoken to everybody here, spoken to all the animals, I've spoken to the children.
With the leadership dead, no attack will be mounted on the grove. I am in your debt, my friend.
Okay.
Stay near the center of the group, all right? No wandering off.
We're ready to head to your camp. Are you?
Let's go.
Excellent. Lead the way. A cart sounds fine.
I am.
But do I have to haul it around? No, an owlbear.
There's so much going on.
Would you look at this place? All these people,
happy because of us. It's nice to be somewhere where good is still possible, and with such lovely company. With you, and just lately, I feel like I can remember what it's like to be good.
I can imagine there weren't a lot of chances for do-goodery in Avernus.
I tried in the beginning. Blew up in my face spectacularly. Lesson learned. Never try to befriend a devil, cambion, or imp. Orphans are good for a drink and joke, but you can't turn your back on them. But hey, enough about that. That's history now. I want to think about the future. The one nice thing about being trapped in the inexorable grind of time is you've always got something to look forward to.
Aw. Aw. And I'm looking forward to spending more time with you. The second one is like really on the nose.
Me too. I don't think I've ever looked forward to anything
Apparently
as much.
she's
You better go
going
enjoy the
that route.
party before I
Okay,
do
there we go.
something I'll regret. I like you unburnt, after all.
Mm-hmm.
Bye, soldier.
What? I mean, it would be nice to deck Roland.
Patience? Have you no respect for showmanship?
Having performance issues, Roland?
Hush you, and behold!
Is that it?
I'll have you know, he can also make them blue.
Never have
I just
met
watched a
such
beer drink itself.
chocolate. Now, pass the wine.
Also, I'm putting on a different outfit because the shirt... Did I just sell the other shirt? Aw. Well, I am right next to my trunk.
Let's have a look. How about two tieflings, frightful and fierce? That's more like it. How many tieflings do you cure? 10? Let's make it 20. That's my girl.
I keep trying to use Ragnarok Online keyboard commands to open things. Oh, those are cute. That is what we shall wear. And we're gonna dye them later. Actually, I think I could dye them now. Yeah. Yeah. Cute. Okay. Actually, what's up, Shadowheart?
Everyone seems to be in high spirits. Strange. You know who I never thought I'd find myself caring for?
Refugee?
Exactly right. Never gave them much thought. Certainly not that bunch in the grove. Yet we came through for them. We saved their lives. Odd.
Not so odd. We did the right thing. I am a ranger, after all.
That's more easily said by some than others.
It's time.
But nobody's here to
I
debate
didn't even
right
see.
from wrong.
Thank you. I'm actually, have been...
Shadowheart trails on
Cheers.
and glances around at the party. She turns back to you, mildly surprised you're still there.
Oh, she drunk.
I thought you might have wanted to mingle with the others.
It's more easily said by some than others. Nobody's here to debate right from wrong. Huh. Are you trying to be rid of me?
No, but I thought you might be keen to get away from me. We haven't always seen eye to eye, after all. Besides, I'm sure there's plenty of people who'll be keen to celebrate most thoroughly with you.
You know, I get that, like, this is supposed to be some sort of, like, tipping point in the story where everybody's having a party and an excuse to party and da 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 da. So you can probably romance a bunch of different characters. I really don't care to right now.
I mean, you saved the Grove. I'm sure you'll find you're quite popular if you look around. Have fun. And don't be a stranger.
Aw. Thank you, Wingman. You caught it.
Look at them all. Guzzling poison like we've the right to be happy.
Wow. You should join them. Have a pint or two.
Perhaps it'll make the evening more tolerable.
Are Roland and Leah actually getting along? I know you cut down a horde of goblins, but this is far more impressive.
What just happened? Guidance. The invisibility. Speak with dead, speak with animals.
Look at them. How happy they are. We did that.
I'm glad you stuck around.
Me too. You're one of the good ones, you know that. Look us up when you hit Baldur's Gate. Be nice to see a friendly face.
I need to dance! No. No, I need to lie down.
Well, glad you thought that through.
Sherry! That's infernal for cheers. Or possibly turnip.
Have a good day at work. See you later, Filton.
Make it spicy.
Right.
Beautiful night, don't you think? Nothing like a brush with destruction to make one appreciate the majesty of a celestial canvas. It's a view I would once have shared with my companion, though definitely unaccompanied by such revelry. She preferred it when we were alone, curled up before a crackling hearth with some ancient, esoteric tome between us. Ink glinting in the firelight.
Hmm. Sounds fun.
Not everyone is comfortable being alone with their thoughts, though I never felt alone with a book in my hand, or with her for company. I speak of Tara, my Tressim, assistant, my constant companion through all the ills and tribulations my hubris has thrust upon me. She'd be most impressed by our efforts saving these tieflings. Proud, even. And I've given her little to be proud of recently, after I was afflicted with my condition. And locked myself in my tower for an entire year. It was inconsolable. Wallowing in my self-inflicted tragedy. I'd given up on myself. But Tara never did. It was her encouragement, her research that led me to my treatment. Once we knew that magically infused items were the key, she went out to find them for me. She saved my life. After so long being cared for by someone else, it feels good to have repaid the favor. Not directly to Tara, but to these poor tieflings. I'm sure she would approve.
What is Tara like?
You remind me of her somewhat. There's a steeliness in you, an unwavering tenacity, even in the face of, to be frank, quite dire odds. Wish she were here for me to make a formal introduction. But I would never ask her to undertake such a journey. She's safer at home. Besides, she was always telling me I needed to spread my wings, so to speak. Find mortal friends instead of hanging onto Mistra's coattails. So that's what I'm doing. I hope.
Bad luck on that front. I'm actually a nymph in disguise. She kind of looks like it.
Very funny. But as we all know, nymphs are sticklers when it comes to their bathing routines. You, my friend, haven't been near a fresh spring in a 10-day or more. Not
I've
that I
been
don't
out in the
appreciate
sea.
your musk. Actually, rather like it. Well, this seems as good a time as any for me to stop babbling on.
Yeah, you drunk. Uh, None of these are good.
Wine is to wit, as meat is to... Oh, can't bloody remember it. There I go then, proving your point. Perhaps we'd better leave it at that. My eloquent tongue isn't worthy of your ear at present.
Aww.
Condition as volatile as it is, I fear any undue excitement may tip it over the edge, so to speak. Go, indulge in the frivolities. Good for the
Aww.
heart. And mine will be all the lighter to see you enjoying yourself.
Everybody's got weird feels. I don't. I accidentally made them all awkward. Oh no.
Go on now, don't waste a night like this talking to me. We'll have plenty of time together on the way to Moonrise.
I'd like to get to know you some more now.
We'll have time to spare for that, I sense. I'm surprised you haven't had your fill of me already. Go on, enjoy yourself. Seek out some wine before it runs dry. There are a lot of thirsty people around here.
What a strange party.
You have no idea how good it feels to see these people smiling. The singing we could probably do without, but even so, thank you.
Hey, Maul.
You came through for us. That's a change from most adults I know.
That sounded dangerously close to a compliment.
And that sounds like the wine drowning your wits. Go on, enjoy yourself. I've squirreled away a few extra bottles. When the barrel's tapped out, I'll be there to save the night. For a price, of course.
I still wish I knew what was up with this place. Alfira!
This might be the wine talking, but I'm feeling inspired.
Thinking of writing my next song about you.
Aw.
But I need an angle. Any ideas?
Hmm. Have you seen this body? It'd be a crime not to sing about it.
One raunchy ballad coming up.
Cute. Hey, Lizelle.
I have seen the Kithraki tear a screaming Nyogi's legs from its belly to fashion into blades. Yet they could not match your nerve today. It was enough to drive me to madness.
I smell their blood on you still. I'd have liked to have tasted it. Too bad for us both, your bunk will be quite busy. Take all the pleasures you can before dawn brings their end.
Everybody's weirdly territorially horny. I'm not liking that.
Hope you're enjoying the night, hero. I certainly am. Cheers to many more like this.
Hey, Scratch.
You know, I never pictured myself as a hero. Never thought I'd be the one they'd toast for saving so many lives. And now that I'm here... I hate it. This is awful.
Really? Saving lives is awful.
We killed some goblins to save some tieflings. The tally of lives didn't change much. But what do I get for all my hard work? A pat on the head and vinegar for wine. Pfft.
Take his bottle and try the wine.
It's a heavy, rich red, dry and sharp.
See what I mean? Awful. All I want is a little fun. Is that so much to ask?
Well, what's your idea of a little fun?
By the hells. Sex, my dear. A night of passion. Not with you, just to be clear. I mean, can you imagine? Ugh, no. Anyway, don't let me keep you. I'm sure you have someone else to sniff around.
Uh-huh.
Roland can finally have his own sock drawer. Folded, color coordinated, even ironed.
No, there's nothing more.
Your song was coming along. Then things began spinning. Worry not. I shall return to it at first light.
Okay.
Here we go.
Why am I doing this? I'm spinning. Are there secrets that I haven't figured out about this place? I don't know. Alright. I need to take a short break, and we'll be right back in about 5 minutes. Go ahead and play some fun music for you folks. I'll see you shortly. I am slowly coming back. I've been having body issues and trying not to have all that live on the air. So, bear with me. Okay.
I like these people. They're joyful. It's contagious.
Aw. Cute.
I wouldn't mind if you let them stay. Just a thought.
Fate spins along as it should.
Dost
Yeah.
thou require a new ally? Or mayhaps a resurrection instead?
Man, why are you like straight out of Elden Ring? It's just so extra.
We should go down.
Think of it. No more caves, no more tents, no more running away. We'll be in a city with roads and markets and homes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, Will.
Ah, hells. I was hoping you wouldn't notice I was gone.
You all right?
No. I'm deeply proud of you. A touch less so of myself.
Hey there,
In truth,
LT.
I don't feel in a festive mood, and I didn't want to cast a grey cloud over the night. I'm a devil. I love the people from the Grove, but I unsettle them deep down, as I seem to unsettle everyone nowadays. You don't want a devil at your party. Claws will pop the balloons, you see. And the sweet cakes don't taste half as good as raw eggs with this blasted forked tongue.
You have some fetching horns. I'm envious.
Ouch. You don't need to mock me when I'm feeling low. But, off with you. This is your day. Have a dance. Enjoy the music.
I wish you were there, but I respect your need for peace.
Some time alone beneath the stars, and I'll be back to my old self. Promise. Still, it's a night to remember. You've made sure of that.
Damn right. What do you mean, not enough space? Yes, there is. She just doesn't want to go parkouring in the middle of the night. I'm having body problems, but we're doing what we can with what we got. We're hanging out. Hanging in there, hanging out. So if I talk to everybody again, do they have new things to say?
This party's a bit more bearable.
Hell yes.
Thanks to that pint.
An adoring crowd,
Fine wine. I dare say this place is almost civilized.
I'm surprised you're still here. I thought you'd be halfway to Baldur's Gate by now.
As did I. But Lear and Cal were so excited for tonight, I thought it cruel to leave. Once my training with Leroican is complete, I'll put on a real show for them.
Yeah, you're gonna learn Tier 2 magics?
Elturel was the last time the three of us talked like this. Let's hope it lasts until Baldur's Gate.
I really like that guy.
Cheers to a night we won't remember.
Lie down. Then dance.
Do devils even grow turnips? Can't all be souls and flesh of the damned.
Like, he's thinking out loud. But he's thinking. Alfira.
Your song was coming.
Okay, so 2 things for each person. Okay, so.
Go on. The others will kill me if I keep you all to myself.
Well, this is what I mean by everybody being weirdly territorial.
Cheers to you, soldier. And to me, if I do say so myself. Cheers to you.
Uh-huh.
Buzz of celebration quiets to a soothing hum as you approach your bunk. You've picked up a few pleasant memories on your journey amongst your struggles. With a profane flush of arousal, you realize she may well be doing the same.
Aww. Okay, that was worth it. Everybody approved.
I trust you enjoyed your evening. After all your efforts, it was well deserved.
You must gather your party before venturing forth.
It may be some time before you're afforded another such night.
Hold on
There
a
is much
sec.
to be done. Moonrise Towers beckons. I've told you all I know.
The audio quality
and now
change.
I'll join your camp to help you face whatever's to come. With luck and the Oak Father's blessings, we might actually survive. Are you ready?
I am.
Onward then. We'll speak soon, I'm sure.
Okay, I must do a thing.
You must gather your party before venturing forth.
Okay, that is way lower than I remember it. You must gather your party before venturing forth. I had to go look it up, though. What if I make that an alert? No, I've never noticed Will's bunk. Oh, that's not Will's bunk. That's why. That's Halson's bunk. Hey, lady.
Hey, you.
This is what we're gonna talk about? I'm doing that off the air. All touchy-touchy. Okay. Wizards. What? Oh, because we're all... Okay. I was like, why are we all grunting?
Peace in the grove once again. It's been too long.
Oh.
Well, at least the sun is nice.
Oh, okay. Whoa. Okay. It's interesting stuff. I think. Wow, what if I did just warp in? I am fully healed and everything. Let's check our spells. Wait, what? Why are you here?
No time to waste.
She can run while I check her spells. Did we change any of these? No, these are all good. Okay, see her coming. I guess we'll just walk back over here.
What to do?
Both of you, huh? Okay. The things I do for my little spiders, because I don't want to spend the summon points again, since the single spell or single first level spell for each one.
Looking ahead. On my way.
Okay. That handles that. I think it would be better if I just end up storming the gate. and do it through the gate. Or I could take high ground. Thinking about it. How I want to approach. And I mean, I might not even need to fight anyone. We'll see.
I'll give it a shot.
Wooden hatch, which leads down into the Underdark. That is another thing that I do want to check. I think I've killed nearly everyone here. Strip mine murder simulator. There is no...
I'm talented.
Are you? You know, we never did try to go over here. Oh, okay. I guess we're in a battle now.
Good idea, I think.
Can't give up.
Nearby enemies. All targets within range cannot reach destination. Could strike this one.
Feel my mistress. On I go then.
Perfect. Delightful. The spirit weapon survived. It's amazing.
This is gonna feel good.
Hi, hi, hi! How you doing?
Aye, aye.
2 to 16. Ah, a single. Wait, what? Why is it so high? Her firebolt and her ray of frost are both ridiculously high, and I don't understand why. What is happening? Huh. Ooh. Preventing it from turning invisible. That's fun. Okay, well. Oh, even magic missile doesn't work right now. Well, dang. Dash, dash, dash. Where is dash? There's dash. We run out into middle of battlefield. We slap the nearest warrior. Holy cow. Big slappy damage. Way too far away. But we can get pretty close here. There we go. Yeah, no alarms for you. We cooked those.
What's inside? Something good here, I hope.
Real quick, fix this. That, that. I love the devious music. It's good. I just saw movement down there. I know it. Oh, it's plants. These folks are. Wow. Let's get up here. Too far past interrupter. Not enough space. Why are you here? What do you mean you can't get there?
No one stopped me yet.
Perfect. That actually worked out really well. Thank you. Thank you, Lupin. Or you had just jumped, huh? Not enough resources, no bonus action. Well, how about a dash? Pathfinding on the wolf is terrible.
I speak, they burn.
It's true. 13, 12, and 14. A novice, sharp-eyed, devout, warlock. You first. Next.
Swiftly now.
Sometimes the only way out is through.
Interesting.
Concentrate.
There's so many abilities here. Let's use Shatter.
Should mind my step.
Good. Also, that was a good test of just how much her concentration could be messed with before it'll break the spell. Skulls. No. And singular magnifying. Well, instead, we start doing some equipment. You know what? Yeah, do all the saleable too. Which there wasn't that much of. Siege camp. Siege camp. Siege camp. Ah. Nice. Siege camp. Still very bogged down. Let's see. Sort by. Wait. Camp supplies. Send a camp. Pouch full of all the special items. Spider silk armor. Send a camp. Boots of striding. While you're concentrating, you cannot be knocked prone or moved against your will. You know who that'd be useful for? A person who uses concentration skills. Oh, you know what? Person who uses concentration skills. Will never dash. You never dash.
Elminster's not around, so might as well.
I wonder what the next move is.
They look good too. I guess sometimes when you dash, you gain wrath. I don't know what wrath do.
Can't give up now. With haste.
Okay, so this is the bitterly difficult if we just continued. That may be the whole speedrun thing, is just like run right through here and completely ignore all the quests. I hadn't thought about that. Whoa, how did I end up from here? A lot of screamies. Doesn't look like there's anywhere I can go up there, though. Deciding if I want to do Oh, it's an action for those. I see. Yeah, just shoot. Good shot. Can't go into stealth right now, though. That'd be a full action. Go figure. Do you have enough? Must be a dippable surface. I'll go do that. Very nice. As an evocation cantrip. Interesting.
Let's light them up.
Dang. Well, that's unfortunate. Huh. Alright, end turn with all of your actions.
Heading there.
Deals 1d8 additional force damage per hit. This is a much higher level summon. That's interesting. I'm gonna hold off though.
Bet them nuts are nice and juicy.
Why are we doing so much damage with firebolts? That is wild. What is happening? Warlock Gurk, you're gonna get chewed up and spit out. Even Gurgon.
Hope your soul is in good hands.
What? Oh, you're right there, though. And you would still... What? No, don't. That sucks. Okay, well. Time for more giant fireballs, I guess. Or fire bolts. Passive interrupted. Is there anybody you can see? Those are all going to be dead in a moment.
Don't get too close.
Yeah. No, get close. Get right in their face. Can't hit anyone. Okay. Well. Really? Also, how do I get to these? Normally, I guess that would all be through flight. Or maybe a jump from there. Huh. Never even noticed. And turn. Poor doggo. What a strange way for that to show all of these.
Got to press on.
She just did 60 damage in a single shot. 60. 6-0. You hit both. No, he only hit the one. Six to 15 or 2 to 20. Let's get that guaranteed damage in. Ah, the fires finally went out. It's almost time to light everything on fire again.
Need any advantage I can get.
Let me recite their demise. Torment. No advantage is unfair.
Oh no! Okay, so you have to do that over the course of 2 turns for it to work. Understood. Can't. It qualifies as a concentration skill. But this will work perfect. You, go away. You, I pull you all to me.
Heating up.
Fact. Do I have a bulb? No, but I have bombs. That would also be funny.
Need to learn the hard way.
Alright. Get ready to light the torch, I suppose. That warlock's just hiding there.
On it. It's alibi.
And
Survival is all that matters.
yeah, we'll do it against this.
Cutting to the chase.
Good. Can't even dip. Yeah! Yeah! That's amazing.
Let me strike true.
21 damage. No, I'm not gonna say it.
Incoming.
Wrath. +1 bonus to damage with melee. Oh! And the reason it's Wrath 2 is because it... Okay. I get it now.
All right then. Don't waste a step.
Victory is assured.
Hey, I didn't even see you there. Well. Bye.
Got to press on.
Heading out.
Another step forward.
Unleash me.
Need to stay focused.
Disadvantage, target outside normal range. What about... Nice.
Come on, Karlak. It's go time. Over there.
No one back home will ever believe this. Don't mind if I do.
Roasted dwarf leg, roasted dwarf belly.
I'm ready to rest my weary head.
The last time you said that,
May the darkness protect you.
oh, that is a gorgeous shield. I also didn't realize that was a thing I could just click. Improvised drumstick. Whole chicken. Give me the entire chicken. I am puppy, and I require chicken. These chickens, I am confiscating them. They are my chicken now. Welcome to Looting Simulator. The main reason that I end up not playing Fallout. Because I can't seem to stop. Different. What if I got on this ladder? Then would there be enough movement? Ooh. Boom. You saved against both arrows. That is impressive.
Gods, it's hot in here.
You're telling me I can get all the way up there? Oh, I guess so, yeah. Missed. Just throw a bunch of rocks. And he's down. Good. $50, $60.
This is my happy place.
Sorry, bud. It had to be done. She's becoming a terrifying battle mage. Like, she's supposed to be a barbarian, and her mage levels are... She's only got one level in mage. She's terrifying.
Swift as my feet can carry me. Another trick up my sleeve.
There is work to do. This'll ruin someone's day.
One with the weave. Interesting.
Is that blood? No, never mind.
There we go.
Always room for more. Breathe deep and move. Open up.
Rusher's Ring, +3 movement. Ooh.
I'm ready. Still alive, so that's progress.
Oh, I could go for a good meal.
No time to rest.
Gruesome.
Anything of use?
The fact that that only, like, dropped him down by 1 health is amazing to me.
Yes.
How much farther can I go?
Let me work my magic. Let's explore.
Wanna dance?
Let's get going. If not over, then through. Seems simple enough. Just another crate.
Oh, okay. I swear I just saw a thing marking another skeleton on the ground. I guess not. Okay. Is there anything else that I needed to grab while I was here? I honestly think that's it. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there's this guy. Beep, 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 beep. Where is everyone? Okay. Oh, we're all moving slow because encumbered. Dang it. I hate doing inventory management. This is the worst part of any given game. Sort by type. Okay, looks like we have one empty backpack. I have dwarven meat in my bag. Which, like, you know, it had to be a thing that somebody figured out in this world of very large people who there is no such thing as cannibalism because you eat who fits. Which is bizarre. I don't know how to parse it. I don't have to like it. I just have to live in this world. That studded leather is nice, but not going to ever really come in handy for anything. Leather gloves can't be enchanted. What is this? Oh. Aww, it actually plays a thing. That's really cute. It sucks that it's being drowned out by the other music. Oh, it's down by the river. A flaming fist shield, huh? Shield is huge. Unfortunately, it just doesn't do nearly as much as the safeguard shield that we picked up. It's cool looking though.
Still breathing, despite everything.
We're just gonna sell this stuff too. Somebody else can deal with random drow body parts. But me? That ain't gonna be me. Improvised drumstick, sure.
One day I'll catch a break. No traps, please.
The corpse.
First step is the hardest.
Tolring magic.
What a weird thing and time to ask. Like, why would I ask a body if it has something useful on it? That's a weird thing. That feels wrong. Who killed you? I killed you. Who are you?
Strongest of our tribe. You wait. Absolute will make you pay.
Am I just taunting him?
If I had, would have killed him. Absolute blesses, gives power, makes true souls.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Interesting. I didn't realize it was a level 5 thing that you gain An extra attack per round. That's handy. Okay. Where to? Moonhaven, the town of Saloon. Also got that little cave there. Oh, wait, no, other way, other way, other way. I am the sleepiest dog. I can't stop yawning. What is hiding over here? What indeed? What shall we find? That was amazing. Just casually walk in there.
Step carefully. There's a trap. Better than nothing.
Technically leads down to the putrid bog, but only kind of? There's nothing of any use there.
Oh, I have the magic touch. Wait.
Line of space. So you're not meant to be able to get up onto these. Delightful. Excellent work. Never one of these you pass, and yet you certainly did find it, didn't you? Easy pass for her being just walk right through it all.
Let's see what this does.
Oh. I can just talk to these ones.
What's in here? What's up for discussion?
Any of the lads give you trouble, then...
Oh, well, that's nice of you.
Oh.
Let's not touch those webs or I'll end up as a meal.
Hey there, Busta. How you doing? Alright. We're gonna summon extra spiders.
Light on my feet.
We woke something. Most likely not from a beauty sleep.
Infested. The hell does infested mean? Ettercap, 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 Ettercap. Monster Slayer. Yeah, shoot it again. A phase spider. Damn it. 4% chance to miss. Still missed. I love that web can be used as spread fire. It's such a fun ability. Target too far, you say. Gubble gubby. Gobble gubby.
Have to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just keep doing this. Immune to simple toxin. Oh, I didn't realize that was going on. Well, again. Now you're both on fire again.
The dice roll in my favor.
Don't really want that though. We're just gonna keep using Firebolt because it works.
Striking distance.
Can't stay idle.
90% chance to hit due to the blast. Oh, I was hoping that spider would be on fire and just go light the other web too. That would have been great. So you're like way over there. With so little health.
Got this.
What fools these mortals be.
Onward.
I didn't realize that was a thing I could do. Wait. I have to manually do this? This is silly.
All right. What now?
Oh, hi.
No. Why are you so weird? Why are you asking weird questions of each other? Just go to sleep. End the day. A party member is in danger and cannot rest right now. Are you? A summoned creature cannot flee. Fine. Dismiss. We'll be back. Gubby gubby.
So that's progress.
Ah, dreams. Time for those. Wolf spider flamethrower. Spider. Speak with animals. Speak with dead. I guess I have to actually have a target for that.
The dog is unable to speak through the small bag he holds in his mouth.
What'd you find? Money.
I don't know. Maybe you can tell me.
A potion
All
of
I know is I
healing.
thought of you when I saw it.
Aw, Scratch. No! I was trying to pet him!
Hope you're keeping well, friend.
Gotta pet the dog. I wish I could pet the wolf. Oh, it's the spider making that noise. Next.
Your desire.
Don't burn yourself. While I'm at it, hello.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
Hey, you.
Huh, my only options are to attack it. What if... Who was it that had animal friendship as an option? Saved against simple toxicity.
Well, well, well.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Huh. Alright, well. I see.
Still breathing, despite everything. Don't waste a step.
Really?
Have to keep going.
What's this?
I don't know how you have advantage, but we'll take it.
Open up.
Ah, good. Everything else has come to us now. We can just finish it all off.
Very well.
Leave spider egg. Rusted blade on skeleton. It's over this way.
Attacking's the best defense.
I've got a long road ahead. Wonder if the gods are watching me. What's inside?
Dang, that is a lot of tunes. Chandelier? Something lit up.
There's nothing.
Oh, that's where this is?
More for me?
I came the other way around in a previous playthrough.
Never a dull moment. Bet that'll fit in my pack.
An ornate diagram is drawn upon this parchment, depicting a ritual of some kind. At the bottom, two figures, a spider and an elf, are sketched with overlapping circles. A single word is penned beneath them: transcendence. A journal filled with hastily sketched diagrams of spiders and various spellwords. The captions are largely written in code, save for a few passages near the end that are penned in shaky comment. They can sense my devotion. It draws them. I hear them in the shadows. Whispers from the Dark Mother. I woke to a gift wrapped in spider silk, a pair of boots taken from a heretic's corpse. Lost sends her daughters to reward my faith, to let me know I'm on the right path. Another gift, the corpse of a drow, sigil scarred upon his face. An arachnomancer, one with the power to inhabit the spider's form. It is a message, my calling. My blood already dries upon the dagger, her blessed image carved into my skin. Oh, give me that. Immune to being unwebbed, your movement speed is not affected by web surfaces. Got some good equipment there.
I'll give it a shot.
Though originally a screed on lost pen and blood, this book's crimson script has been smeared away in several places, a different handwriting atop it. I shall recall my life upon the surface with more than regret. I weep for the decades spent treading the murky waters of profanity while my true queen waited in the shadows. Even my name, Etiette, feels foreign and foul upon my tongue. A high elf exalted by Loth herself, my drow captors cannot fathom it. But I see their house's downfall in visions granted by the Spider Queen herself. When that day comes, when some unnamed whelp from an insignificant house cuts the matron mother's throat, I will escape. I will find solitude, and I will worship Loth with my very soul. From him was most of this.
Best be on my way.
And this is meant to obviously give us a view of the upcoming battle. Alright, we'll try this spider fight. And, probably cut it after that. As I said, I'm a very tired puppy. Predator of the ethereal plane.
My faith will guide me. Got to keep moving.
Yeah. Come on over. Alright. Knocked over, huh? Nice.
Close ranks. idea, collab.
Okay. That clears the angles of attack of multiple enemies here. Let's go ahead and do sacred munitions as well. Now then, you folks. What if I did just... Not enough movement. You'll be kidding me. You can't... I've seen an 80% pop up every once in a while in the midst of all that. Oh, is it the spider web down below? I see. Okay. That'll suffice for now. Interesting. There we go. Damn. Alright, Shadowheart. We're gonna do this way.
Never a dull moment.
Oh no. Pushing targets back. An idea, but an awful one. Yeah, we're just gonna use arrow fire here. She just took 42 damage from falling. That's amazing. Gubby, gubby, gubble gubby.
Time to press ahead.
Okay. Oh. What about... Wow. Oh, wrong spell. You gotta be kidding me. Ah, that didn't count. Alright, well, send another battle axe down there to go cause problems. Path was interrupted. How do we get down there efficient? Also, we got these folks. Lacerate, piercing shot. Please. Bye. What?
I don't fancy their chances.
Yes. Count on me.
Uh-huh. Hi, Dan. How you doing? We're trying the fun big spider battle. Oh no. No longer poison. You're on fire some more. Yeah, drink a potion, I guess. May as well start healing in between turns here. What exactly is happening here? You're having a bit of an error. There we go.
Bye forever, pal.
Bye.
Soldier.
Oh, we could do it again. Yeah, go for it. That's it. That's the fight. That's the big fight.
Nothing will stand in my way. Another step forward.
Poisoner's Robe. When the wearer casts a spell that deals poison damage, it deals an additional 1 to 4 poison damage. Interesting. Spider eggs.
I feel a breeze. I wonder what's down there.
Mind your footing. The bones of the careless are probably littered down there.
Something good here, I hope.
There's a little portal here.
Better not be cursed.
Did not expect that. Uh, I exist. It's, as you can tell, mildly distracted and out of it. I'm hurting and low psychic power. Int and Wiz down by 3 each. Sometimes that be how it is. Sometimes you think it be like it do. Bye. Oh, I can't just throw them. Okay. What's this? What have I found? Wait, what? Oh, did I actually? I think I was supposed to be able to do something
Shaw's
else.
blessings upon you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you for the blessings of Shar. And that's the workshop. So that's this whole place. Now where do I want to go? I guess I could go to Joaquin's Rest. You know, the Underdark and start fighting stuff. Oh, I'm a sleepy dog. You know what? But there's 8 of you here. I don't want to just bail on you, because I am having fun adventuring. I'm just very tired. Let's see what's on the Risen Road. Okay, so that was this place up here, where there's a bunch of blood.
Gods, look what they did to him. That could have been me.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's one way to approach that. Did you know?
Barely. He was a new recruit, but he was a flaming fist. That made us better than brothers.
Oh, the bloodbaths. What happened here?
A massacre. Drow and goblins slaughtered them all. You should talk to Gauntlet Dane. She's in charge.
Okay. The Daring Dwergar.
Shaw's blessings upon you.
That's nice, thank you. What just happened? Get it. Get it. Get it. Get in there. Get in. Hello? No. Go before it is too late. Holy cow. I don't think I was supposed to do that. And if I'd come in here with create... Wait. I don't know how to get past that. Everybody's blinded. I don't even know what blinded us. We just walked in and got blinded. Okay. I'm having trouble parsing what I'm doing tactically. Like, I don't even know what just happened, and I can't fix this. So, rather than continuing to, yeah. Rather than continue to, and buh and guh, I think I might need to call it for the night. I am not, I'm, hi, hi. I don't know. Gamer mode might be dead. Tactician gamer mode. Yeah, we're gonna quit without saving. That was absurd. Okay. Beep boop. Boop it up up. Babba boop boop. Hoop up 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 up. Scrabble up up. Screeby beep. Scrap up. A green glow dog on the internet. What am I doing? Okay. Yeah, I think I am just gonna raid. I can't. If I was a little more coherent, I would attempt a just chatting stream, but I'm not here. I am not here. I am just. Wait, why is this the moment that more people come in? No. Got some butter. Butter will make my butter better. I am in La La Land. I hurt so much right now. Chronic Pain Dog is struggling. This isn't even chronic pain. This is just recent injury. I don't even know what I did to myself. It just hurt. I'd like to stop. Let's send you over to Val. Alright, I have typed the thing. I've typed the thing and I've clicked the button that initiates the raid. Everybody, thank you so much for coming in tonight and tolerating the wait. Canceled? Why was the raid canceled? Who did this? Who would dare? Thank you everybody for coming in tonight, for hanging out in the chat, for being weird with me, and generally just being part of the pack. I love you all. This has been a blast. I'll see you again tomorrow. Hopefully we'll actually have Stone show up this time. But I don't know. We'll see. And, oh, it looks like we need to get LT a sub. You folks have a lovely evening. I will see you again tomorrow at 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Bye, 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 bye.